Broadcasting live from the HR Media Control Room here at UstreamRadio.com. Yours truly, Diamond K. And tonight I'm going to be joined by a special guest who is going to talk a little bit about his DJ career, his music career, past, present, and future. And we're going to get into all of that good stuff. And let me go right here and see. Concrete.
You.
What's going on, sir?
Oh, not much, man. You know how we do.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Now, this is going to be a little interesting because a lot of these questions I'm going to ask you, I know the answer to. But the people wanna know this, and of course, questions you can send me at info@thediamondkshow.com, and I will get to those. But we're gonna talk about your start in music and all of that stuff. Before you became a producer, you were well known in Baltimore as a DJ. What got you hooked into music?
Well, I always had that liking for music. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy because, you know, back in the day when we was coming up and down, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know, you know, we used to play in the dirt together. You know what I mean? We knew each other for a long time. It's Miss Dixon class and all that. But the thing of it is that, you know, a lot of DJs, they'll tell you, especially from Baltimore, tell you they got their stuff from listening to WEVB and Frankie coming up and everything. And, you know, we always going to maintain a lot of love for them because, you know, they did pave the way for a lot of people. And a lot of them guys are still out there, so we got to show much respect for them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I started off with, you know, just doing my little thing with the tape recorder, trying to put my own master mixes together because I was so fascinated by music, period. You know what I'm saying? So I started off just like a lot of other people started off and just kept on with it, you know?
Absolutely. You were heavily involved, I would say, in the mixtape scene, and also in the DJ battle scene. How did you get to the point where you started actually making mixtapes and selling them?
Crazy thing, you know, that love for music, like I said, and it was like, I'm sure you remember Charlie Bell. I got
Absolutely.
my first turntable from him, man. It was crazy because, you know, he used to rock the parties back in the day or whatever, and you know, I bought my first turntable that I used to DJ on from Charlie Bell. First turntables and mixing and everything. And then my mother, you know, after my father passed away, my mother was always supportive, and my father. You know, my whole family is always supportive, and I gotta send a shout out to them. You know, my wife, my kids, you know, my sisters, my brothers, and all that. But you know, my mother, after my father passed away, got me a set of 1200s. You know, and I had to, of course, get rid of the Charlie Bell turntables. But and you know, I got really serious with it then, and then I started DJing parties, and, you know, my other right-hand man was right there, my man Ed Nice. To this day, right now, that's, you know, he's my manager for the label, my manager, our artist manager, and everything. He do his thing, but he was right there, you know what I mean? And you know, we were DJing parties and stuff like that, man. It was like I started off with one cassette tape, or we would be DJing, you know, parties or whatever, and then people would always come up, hey, man, did you make a tape of that party last night? And you know, I didn't, you know, but then I started bringing a cassette deck with me at the parties and was just recording it live, and people was just loving it, and I was, you know, just started selling them from there. So I make a $1 to $100. You remember when the tapes was 99 cents, and, you know, and then you can buy a brick of tapes, you know, for $10, and, you know, that's how it was. It was
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, you're definitely known in the DMV area for you know, your distinct mixing style, blending of R&B acapellas with hip hop beats and things like that. What about the battle scene and the competitiveness between DJs? What is your experience with that?
Well, me to this day, I've always I'm a competitive person. You know what I'm saying? And I was, just the fascination of music and what I can do with music. That's where, that's another way I made my thing of that being competitive. And coming up, it was weird because, again, I was fascinated with the DJ battle and just the DJ period. You know what I'm saying? And then, I just started battling, and then, a lot of, I was battling actually live at parties. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but, I used to crush dudes at parties. You know what I'm saying? Live, right? You know what I mean? And then from there, I was known from that. And it was wild because people used to come from east side, west side, whatever. They used to post, like the stuff you see on the movies, on like breaking, when they used to meet up with each other breaking and all that. People used to come to the parties to battle me. It was crazy, but it was real. And, we'll just straight up battle. And then that's how I kind of got my name too, because it used to be DJ Double Feature. And I'm not proud of that. And then after that, it was DJ Kid Concrete. And then we moved to Kid, now it's just Concrete. You remember? So, and that's what happened. And then, me and Vicious V, that's my man right there. Me and him became battle partners, and we was battling dudes, just crushing them, around town. It was crazy. And then, also my man Technique and all that, all of us, man, we was just one big legion of doom, you know what I'm saying? And we was crushing them, though.
Absolutely. In I would say the early days of hip hop, when you had the breaking and the graffiti and all that stuff merged with the with the MCs, do you miss that time, or do you like it better now?
I absolutely miss that old time, and I really wish a lot of these dudes would take the time out and actually look at their heritage of hip hop and look back and see what they rapping for. That's just like a lot of these dudes out here street hustling. They out here street hustling. Even street hustling is not like it used to be. Dudes used to be out there getting money. Now dudes out there getting in beef. You see what I'm saying? And it's just they're losing the part of getting money. So, back then everything was good, man. It was fresh. You know what I mean? So it was like, you like me, right? I gave up. I don't want to say I gave up, but I retired for a little while DJing, because when I DJed before, with the real old school and coming up, in our era in the 90s and all that, I used to have fun DJing. I used to, the beats was always rocking, and, you can cut to them and everything. The art of the DJ was still alive and everything, and the music was good. You used to have fun DJing. But now things have slowed down so much, and dudes just trying to talk too slick for me, and, they're just talking too much garbage, and a lot of times I have no interest in it. You know what I mean? I remember as we were growing up, we would look at dudes and say, man, that dude's stuck in the time. He got the cone with the fish in it, but that came back, and he, walking down the street with the radio to his ear. I never knew that was going to be me. You know what I'm saying? So now I look at this, and it's like I can't even deal with this. I'm stuck in my time, so I'm going to do what I do in this music scene. And there's going to be a lot of people who hate it. There's going to be a lot of people who love it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't please everybody. But while I'm doing me, I'm going to please me, and I'm going to please a lot of other people. So that's pretty much it. But they should definitely take the time out to learn about why are they rapping. You know what I'm saying? Or why the art of the DJ kind of then faded out even right now, and that's sad. And dudes don't realize that they need a DJ. If it wasn't for the DJ, they wouldn't be there. Just imagine. The DJ is going to play beats. The DJ is going to keep the party rocking. But guess what? If you go to a party and a dude rapping acapella the whole party and everybody rocking, let me know. Then I'll be a believer. But right now, they gotta know that they need a DJ. You know what I mean? They need a producer. So, that's what it is right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you summed it up really good. If you're just tuning in, yours truly, Don McKay, right here, UStreamRadio.com, interviewing DJ Concrete. And I want to go to an email question here from Brown21 that says, did you enjoy mixtapes or parties more? So I guess to round it out, which one do you prefer, doing mixtapes or doing parties?
I kind of really enjoy the mixtapes because I can really express myself, you know what I mean, and be me and put together what I want to put together. Don't get me wrong, I love DJing parties, but at the same time, you know, of course you're reading the crowd. You know what I mean? You're playing what they want to play and all that, and I have absolutely no problem with that, but I just had more fun putting together me on a mixtape.
Okay. And definitely, Brown, thank you for that question. You know, a time came when you started to make the transition, or I guess expanding, from your regular DJing to having artists, you know, rapping on your tapes and things like that, and you made a move to actually starting a label. How and why did this transition happen?
Well, it's funny you ask because you were right there the whole time when I did that. You know, you were right there when that transition. So, but I know you have to ask that question, and I have to answer it. But you remember we were at Electronics and More at that time, and we were you know, DJing at the store and stuff like that. And you know, I DJed so much, and it was just like at a point where I was thinking like, okay, let me make the next step. What should my next step be? What do I want to do? And I always loved the sample. You remember back when the mixes came out with the samplers on them, and I used to love the sample and loop beats and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, I said to myself, I want to start making tracks. And then you remember, I always started my mixtapes off with an intro. So I started looking at it like, okay, I would love to find some artists to put and rock some beats just like old school on my mixtapes. Plus, I could start making my own tracks and introducing my own tracks into the mixtapes. And that's what I did. But it was funny because when I started doing that, we started getting people asking about the artists to be back on there. And those artists, which would be K-Mack and Silhouette. You know what I mean? And they started loving them. The way we did the intros, we was giving them a little bit, and then they wanted more, and they wanted more. And then it started forming into something else.
Absolutely. So, starting off, did you see the potential in these artists, K-Mack and Silhouette, to branch off, or were you surprised by the reaction that they got from the people?
Well, put it like this. I mean, it was weird because back then, again, I wasn't really thinking about an artist or whatever, but then it was just like, you know, I would get in my ear, like I started telling people I'm looking for some artists, whatever, and, you know, I wanted them to be where we were from, you know what I'm saying, and then a lot of times K-Mack would pop up, right, and, you know, me and K-Mack, you know, we came up together and everything, and, you know, we you know, was always cool, you know what I'm saying, and then, you know, I went and picked him up from, you know, up in the village, because, you know, we was up in the village every day, you know what I mean, you know, and I went and picked him up, talked to him about what I was trying to do and everything, and, you know, he was already, he was rapping or whatever, and then I brought him on, right, and then, you know, at a lot of times, an artist needs to be developed, and even me, I needed to season myself to work with them, or to work with him, but all in that same week pretty much. You know, I went and grabbed K-Mack, told him what I was trying to do. He was down with it. And then, I don't know if you remember, DJ Hurricane. I don't know if you remember him, but
I do.
He was, you know, he was, you know, he was one of our boys or whatever, right? And always a cool dude, man. But me and him was in the battle before, right? And we was battling or whatever, and we always kept in touch with each other. Real cool guy. And he actually knew Silhouette from up in Yale Heights, but, you know, what happened one day, you know, she used to mess with him and saw us, you know, with the music, and then after that, you know, something happened or whatever, and he couldn't do music anymore because he didn't have his turntables or whatever, but Silhouette can tell you that part of the story better, but anyway, he would always, he called me and told me, hey, I got an artist, because he heard I was looking for artists, and which was Silhouette. And then I went up, met Silhouette, and then told her what I was doing and everything, and then it went on from there. You know what I'm saying? Went on from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these, you know, with your help, these two artists went on to form the Annex clique. How did that name come about? And them being solo artists, how receptive were they to forming a group?
Well, here's the funny thing, and I'm glad you asked that question. But you remember it started off as the Concrete Foundation. That's the label, right?
Absolutely.
And me personally, you know, I'm always a laid back person, whatever, you know. And you know, I say, hey, what are you? You know, this is the label. What's a name that y'all want to be called? Mac came up with the Annex clique, and it was also doing part of, you know, his brother. That's how he came up with that name. And but again, like you said, they were solo artists. But you know, you remember back when you were pushing like the bomb and all that stuff, and you know the other projects you had, and I was pushing my projects or whatever. You remember, instead of me putting, well, although I did do that, but you know, putting a Silhouette record out or a Mac record, you remember I was putting Mac on one side and Silhouette on the other side. Again, it was solo artists, but I did that, you know, for monetary reasons at that time. But you know, that's pretty much how it happened. But you know, the Annex clique name came from K-Mack, and you know, like I said, in conjunction with, you know, a thing with his brother. So that's how that happened. And then, you know, we pretty much branded the Annex clique name, you know what I'm saying, instead of the label name, but the label name still stands out there whenever you read it on the records or whatever, it's there.
Absolutely. Once again, if you're tuning in, DJ Concrete's on the line. Yours truly, Diamond K, UStreamRadio.com. As always, your questions, info@thediamondkshow.com. Now, this question here from St. Louis fan. Okay, whatever. St. Louis fan. I'm sorry about that you're a St. Louis fan. I'm assuming the Rams is their team. But this question is, who's the better MC, K-Mack or Silhouette? Tough question there.
Wow. It's a really good question. What I always try to do is not compare. If there's going to be a comparison, I'll let the people compare. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to ask me, I would say there are two different styles of rappers, or MCs or artists. Mac is more of your street style artist, and then Silo is more of your anything. She can go street, she can go here, she can go there. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, that right there, I always try to not touch that. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed working with both of them, and you know, I mean, you know, I know you would love for me to say, you know, that artist, whatever, but I just never did it. You know what I'm saying? Again, I leave that opinion to the, you know, to people who heard our music. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I feel as though both of them was very thorough. I mean, you know, I love working with them, and we didn't, you know, when I put the whole thing together, we didn't realize what we had. And then, you know, we brought in my people's Wiz, man, because he's like another brother, man, growing up. He was a little older than me and everything. And, but, you know, I knew his family. He knew my family. You know, we was all good.
Absolutely. And you went on to establish a very nice movement that a lot of people, I guess I would say a lot of people don't know what happened. You know, you started bringing in some other artists and really started rounding out the movement with other artists. I remember Derek Rebel and Mr. Wilson being, you know, people that were at least affiliated. Care to speak on either of those two artists?
Absolutely. Derek Rebel, another homeboy from Yale Heights, and very talented. I mean, he's still around to this day, very talented I'm sure we're going to work together again in the future. Right now, and also I want to send a big major shout out to Billy Keys. You know what I'm saying? Because them two are working together a lot. And then back then, I was also working with my man, Mr. Wilson. Man, very talented. I always talk about him. I listen to him now. We're actually going to bring out a release joint of him with tracks that I did, you know. And I mean, you just gotta hear him, man. And I miss that dude, man. I listened to him. He was very animated with his words and the way he delivered his words. And you know, you gotta listen to that. And I mean, he was good. And then there came Oh My Little, right? I always loved that dude since I met him, and he's on my label now. So I had to have him. So you'll be hearing a lot from him. Also, and shout out to my man, Dawood Shabazz. Your head, it's going to be some controversy coming. You know what I'm saying? But them two right there, Wilson and Doug Rebel, yes, you know, I worked with them and had a lot of fun back in the day working with them, man. It was really nice.
Yeah, with the Annex click and a compilation, there were several projects that were released through the Concrete Foundation and also the Concrete and Wiz Foundation. What happened with the movement? Why did the music stop?
Well, what happened was back then when all that went down, you know me, Diamond. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And that meaning that, you know, you touch on a lot of different things and try to make money with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you make your money with it. So what happened with that, you remember, you know, when I had the studio down on, Howard Street. And then also, after that, remember we moved into Studio 14? And Right. It was just like after that, I started getting back into something that was always my love, was the dirt bikes. You know what I'm saying? And I started, it was weird. I went and got my car dealer license. So I started selling cars and stuff like that. And I got kind of burnt out with what I was doing as far as them, and basically, you know, just let them out of their contracts and let them do, you know, whatever they did. And, you know, so I was doing my car thing and doing the family thing and everything. So, and that was pretty much it. But then over the years, of course, it was always roaming around in my heart that I wanted to do it again. And then, you know, I moved to Atlanta, and a lot of other things started happening. Like I started doing stuff for other artists down here, like Shorty Low and Jeezy, and, you know, just and meeting up with a lot of good people. And then I got burned out again as far as on the DJing, and then now I'm back on the production again. But I hope I didn't answer stuff that you were going to ask me, but you can re-ask me whatever you want. You know, it's cool.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, you answered that very well, and you know, with dealing with artists, I've experienced it myself, and like you said, you know, you know a lot, you know, that went on with me and artists that I've managed and produced. I think that sometimes artists don't realize all that we do or have to go through for them with the producing and the promoting of the artists. Sort of like, for lack of a better example, like a kid almost. You know, and when you're
Right.
under your parents, you don't understand everything until you have to pay the bills yourself. And
Right.
Do you think that you have if you've had any type of disagreement with some of the artists, do you think that they understand things that you had to go through better now that some time has passed?
It's weird because it seems like it kind of got worse. Because, you know, back then, like I just said, you know, I was with my family and everything, and I just, you know, I got out of it. But I hear little remnants now, and maybe it was being said before, but I hear little remnants now about that, and they don't realize that, you know, that was something that I was doing before that, production and making records and stuff like that. I was doing that before that. And I was also, you know, I was married before that and had my kids before that. And as I was doing that, don't forget, that was an investment. You see what I'm saying? That was an investment that I had to have money for my household, and then I had to have money for this project, and don't forget, you know, I'm putting this money out for this project, and that's coming from out of my pockets. And I know you know because, again, you were there, and you were doing the same thing. You had to come out your pockets for your projects, and, you know, it's not like we had some major label budget or whatever. I was, you know, taking my money from my mixtapes and stuff like that and investing it into records. You see what I'm saying? So when people start saying that, and I don't want to say, you know, like it's a lot of people, or if a person wants to start saying that, it's crazy. But I already know that you know exactly what I'm going through. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, you got to recoup your money from that. And it's not like, you know, we went platinum and all that. We was still underground. But then even to this day, people really love what we were doing. I mean, you can look on the internet and see a lot of stuff that we did. And people loved it, and they still want to buy it to this day. But back then, it wasn't like that. We were doing stuff that a lot of dudes wasn't doing. We were doing stuff independently with our own money, and then now you got, now people are starting to catch on and doing that themselves, you know, nowadays. But look at music right now. It's like, it's nothing like the talent that we had before.
Absolutely, you know, and I think you're being modest here, because I really want to be clear at this, because you and I've been around you where we both personally have spent thousands of dollars on producing records of our own money, you know, promoting the records, marketing material, sending money to New York, the pressing plants, and all of these things on strictly on the faith that we believe in a record. And maybe we were going to make our money back, and maybe we weren't. You know, this is just on vinyl records and cassette tapes and things like that. And so a lot of people don't understand. An independent artist doesn't have to put forth the amount of money that we had to put forth years ago to get the record going.
Yes, and that's so correct, because you got to look at it like this. When we were doing it, first of all, right now, mainly the main thing they're making money off is music downloads and shows, right? So back then, you had to have records, you had to have cassettes, you had to have posters, you had to have business cards, postcards, all this stuff. You had to pay. Now you have the internet, or what they're using for, you know, Facebook and all this other stuff. All they're doing is taking that picture that they just took from their camera phone, putting it on there, and sending it out. That's their promotions. Then, you know, back then we had to pay promotional people, or, you know, it was just so much more. So it's like a lot of these guys don't have a clue of what was going on, but they figure they're doing it now. But look at how much less money and how I mean, try to do what we did before and, you know, compared to now. It's just day and night. It's black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the same. So it just costs so much more money. We couldn't, you know, just take an MP3 and email it somewhere. No, we had to get records pressed. That's thousands of dollars right there. So, I mean, it's crazy. So, again, when I hear that little, you know, smudge talk, I laugh at it.
Right, and I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that, you know, anybody can just start up, anybody can just say, I'm a CEO of this or that in this day and age. And, you know, and that's all it takes. And like you said, take a couple pictures, you know, post a couple MP3s, and they in the game, so to speak. But back then, it was a lot less people, and it took more than just saying, I'm doing this. You had to actually physically have these things in your hand before you were doing it. And then on top of that, you had to sell some records, you know, because we know a lot of people come to the store and didn't sell any records, you know, but they made it a record, and, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And that's so true, and that's something, it's like little nooks and crannies that I'm actually forgetting, and I'm not even saying that, and they're so important. Like you say, you know, you can make your record all you want, but it can sit on the shelf, because you got to remember all that. Okay, you made a record, now what? You know, what about your promotions? What about making your record that is really a nice record? It's hot. And if you're not doing it, then, I mean, you know, you just wasted a whole bunch of money.
Right, absolutely. And a lot of times, you know, different artists don't understand all of that, don't understand everything that that goes into it, and then if something doesn't go the way that they want, then they feel a certain type of way, and then they talk greasy. I've experienced this myself with artists saying different things as it relates to me, but not understanding the full picture, and later on coming back and saying that they were wrong, or sometimes not. But it's time. Time will tell. I would definitely want to talk about what you got going on right now. But I want to say this: that our live stream is going to be stopping shortly, and people will be able to hear the full interview in the archives. And we're into some bonus time. Can we take one call?
Oh, you asking me that?
Yeah. You want to take a call?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's take this call from the 443 area code. And let's see. Hello, who's this?
Yeah, what's going on, people? See my family on the phone together. What's poppin'? Yeah. You said that's unique? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? That's what I'm talking about. That Jonathan Moore in the building. Yeah, man, it's good to hear you. And I see you doing your thing all the time. You keep on pushing. You know what I mean? The music has always been your love, so that's what you do. You make the music, and you take care of your family. Most definitely. It's funny. We all got families now. Yeah. Yeah. You remember when we didn't have a family or whatever. I want to say to you, though, Creep, man, keep doing your thing. You've been holding it down for 20 years in this game. All that he say, she say, whatever, F it. You know what I mean? Right. I don't even care about that. You see, I see the slurs being thrown on Facebook. Everybody see the slurs being thrown on Facebook. I get them thrown at me, man. Just keep grinding, keep doing your thing, keep making up music, keep working with Jeezy, Shorty, Low, whoever you want, Fabo, whoever you want to work with down Atlanta. Just smash them domes out. Yeah, and I appreciate your encouragement. And like I said, same thing for you. You keep doing your thing, and I'm proud of you and Diamond. You know what I mean? Y'all doing some really good things. Y'all hanging in there and everything. And like I said, ain't nothing changed with me. You know, I'm still a little quiet, but I can be loud. Still got my wife still by my side to this day. Love her to death. And my kids, I love them to death. I mean, we've been through a lot, and they still here. They ain't going nowhere. I love them. And, I'm going to do this music, and I'm going to do the music that's going to make me feel good while I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, that's where a lot of guys mess up, too. They go what's going on now. You know what I mean? Be yourself. Music is a way for you to express yourself, not, express what everybody else doing. You know what I mean? So I don't want to get into that. I mean, I'm serious. It's just like, I know it's a lot of talent there in Baltimore. It's a lot of talent, but some people choose to take, these routes that really ain't them, and they make themselves sound foolish. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they on the right track, but they on the wrong train. So, you know what I mean? I just don't, a lot of them, I don't know what they doing up there, but, I try to listen to some of them, but I really wish they would get back to what they know, and a lot of times not all the killing and the drug slinging and all that stuff. No, music's supposed to be, it's supposed to really make you feel good. Music can cover many different things in your life, and it don't always have to be killing, cursing, and, just violence and all that stuff. It's, sometimes a nuisance. You know what I mean? When I hear old school stuff or whatever, and it ain't even gotta be old school, because I hear a lot of good stuff that's new. But sometimes I ain't gonna lie. I'm not hating on the Southern stuff. I mean, yes, we live here in the South, but I don't feel like hearing it. I want to hear, throw me some Gangstar or some Chaos One or somebody. Diamond, me and you used to go back and forth about Chaos One and E40.
We used to. I don't
know why we was comparing them two.
We used to debate, and thanks, Unique, for the call. We used to debate heavy on this, and I'm going to tell you what's ironic. It's ironic that me being such a big fan of Southern music, I would like to say that I was I'm going to say I was the first person up here in Baltimore playing No Limit, playing Cash Money, But it's
Let me
ironic
ask
that
you this.
you're living in the South. It's
I
ironic that you're
know, and
living
it's
in the
funny.
South.
Can I second that, what you just said? I just said that to Jay. I just said that to Jay a couple weeks ago. I said Donna was the first person I ever heard play the Southern music, and that's no lie. I remember you was E40. I mean, well, E40, you know, West Coast, but still E40, No Limit, all them guys. You knew all them guys, and you was the first one I knew playing that stuff, and that was like that was back in the early '90s.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and you remember me and you used to go back and forth about that. It was crazy, but you know they have since then made some stuff that I did like or whatever. But like I said, you know, I mean, I'm not hating on none of them. Like I said, that's the way they express themselves through music. So, you know, it's, you know, but, you know, I used to, you know, me and you used to go back and forth because, you know, I just used to like to get you wound up.
right. We used to have many hip hop debates, you know, in the store. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Right.
I want to talk about street tactics and that whole movement. How did that come about?
Well, what happened with that, again, like, I wanted to kind of get back into the industry, but at the same time, I don't want to be out there like that. I just want to make my tracks and, you know, and you know, build, you know, mostly a production company, but at the same time, you know, again, I needed artists to, you know, to use as a vehicle to start getting those tracks heard. So, again, like I say, with Omar Little, and, you know, Omar, he been around since back when the Concrete Foundation was started, and even Dawood. You know, do you know Dawood?
Yes.
Yeah. So even Dawood, you know, he was around a long time. So, that's why I even looked at them. You know what I'm saying? I looked at them because I know they can do it, and they've been around. So, with that, what I'm doing now, like I said, you're about to hear a few things that's getting ready to come out real soon. And like I said, you know, it's going to be fun. But like I said, you won't see me much. I still, you know, have my beautiful wife beside me and my kids. So I'm not trying to, you know, really get out there like that. I'm just trying to, you know, like I said, I'm just making tracks and you know, doing that and building this company, and so it can provide for my family and their families.
All right. Another email question from DJ Rocksteady. He wants to know your favorite producer. I think I know the answer to that, but I'll let you tell us your favorite producer. Huh?
My favorite producer is DJ Premier.
I knew it. I knew the answer to that. I knew the answer to that.
That's what my favorite producer is.
You know, and I guess a little bit off topic. With the passing of Guru a little while back, and you know, and that whole thing, I know that probably had to touch you with the just the way the whole Gang Starr thing ended out with Soul Law and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But Premier being your favorite producer, is his production style a big influence on you?
Oh yeah, definitely, because that dude is hip hop. You know what I mean? Sometimes let's say if I'm on a computer, you know, whatever, I might be doing some work, I'll go to YouTube and just pull up, you know, DJ Premier and just see what he has going on, because you know he's still working on a lot of projects. He's actually working on some stuff, you know, I don't know if he's still working on it now, but a lot of guys, you know, in Texas where he's from. So he started reaching back out to his people in Texas and doing some stuff with them, but I still listen to him to this day. And I can't, like I said, all that, I mean, I'm not down in these guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of these tracks out here today are rocking. I mean, I like them, but then some of them are just foolish. You know what I'm saying? I just can't even listen to them, and I can't even listen to half of, like I said, the music that's going on right now. I can't even picture me, you know, if I was still recording like in the studio back then, I couldn't even have them in the booth. I asked them to leave. I'm serious.
One other question I definitely would ask before we close it out. Will we see a reunion of the Annex clique with Concrete involved?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I would answer that by first instinct, but I'm not. But you know, you might see something, out there, and maybe a track or two or three or whatever, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But you will hear, some of the not remix, but repressed vinyl that will be coming out soon. And,
Very good.
it will, put it like this, you will be able to put your hands on some of the old stuff that we did before, and it's going to be some unreleased stuff that we did that never got out. You'll be able to touch. But, right now, as far as like some new stuff from the Concrete Foundation Annex Click deal, like I said, I don't know. It's a very gray area. I kind of doubt it, but it's a gray area. But, if you ask me that again, maybe 6 months, I may be able to answer the question a little bit better. But right now, like I said, it's the gray area.
All right, that's fair enough. And so when is the music coming from Street Tactics? When can we look for that?
Actually, I will say this. I would say mid-October. You'll start hearing some things.
Absolutely, that's good. And I definitely want to talk to your artists and all that good stuff. And I shoot videos.
Oh yeah, we will definitely get you
something out. Okay.
Okay.
All right, definitely.
That would be the move.
Definitely. Anything before we close it out? We got less than a minute. Anything you want to say before we go?
Actually, I was kind of a shout-out king back then because I really appreciate people. So, one, I want to send a shout-out to 626 Records. Also, the Mighty Thor, with 626, his blog spot over there. Also, again, major shout-out to my wife, Tracy, and my two sons, my two little creeps, my daughter. Also, my brothers and my sisters. Also, a shout-out to of course, Ed Nice and Omar Little, Dawood. Also, I can use that minute up. Also, we're going to be giving, like, a cap away, a hat, because we got some Street Tactics gear, and you got to check it out. It's real nice, and I'm going to make sure I get you some up there. But each week, Ed Nice he'll be asking a question. And if it was people from the old school that really know it, they'll ask a question. They'll be able to answer it, and he's going to send them one of the new Street Tactics hats. So that should be pretty cool.